Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we are back to another JoyTangle video. This is a 25-day Christmas Zentangle challenge that I'm hosting on my social media platforms, and I'm posting all the tutorials over here on my YouTube channel for you to follow along. I had created a list of 25 prompts, which are 25 tangles for you to draw along with me every day for 25 days from the 1st to the 25th of December. And you can actually use this list in any order that you like. But I'm going linear with the way I had imagined this list and with the way that I had written these prompts. So, based on this, we are on day 5 today, and the tangle or the prompt that we have for today is Anmoo, which is a beautiful tangle created by a Japanese CZT, Hiromi Fukuoka. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. I'm not 100% sure. But I do know that Hiromi has created so many beautiful tangles, and this is one of my favorites. So, if some of you are Japanese and are watching this video and you know how to pronounce this name correctly, please put that pronunciation for me in the comments box below, because I would love to be able to address people with the right pronunciations of their names. But yeah, otherwise, if you're interested to see the step outs for this particular tangle, or if you want to know the backstory or the origin story of this tangle, then as always, I'm going to put the link for that in the description box below, and you can totally check that out. Now, coming to the drawing portion of this video. So, one of the things that I actually loved about this tangle is that it is buildable in the sense that it can keep going on and on for as long as you like. You can actually just fill up an entire page with this tangle if you wanted to, because it extends gradually. And I think I do remember reading about this tangle, and somewhere it mentioned that it's actually inspired by fossils. And it was also inspired by Marasu, which is another tangle which kind of goes in a spiral fashion. And so this was sort of like a mashup between the inspiration of the fossils and Marasu, and that's how Hiromi came up with this tangle. Now, I actually like to use a slightly different variation or a tangulation of this tangle towards the edges. So, as you can see, I've kind of started off with these little triangular sections, but then I gradually move on to creating almost like a trapezoid or like a square or like a bent rectangle towards the edges. But that's not how it's done in the original step out. And the original step out has it in triangles, continuing one after the other. So, like I said, if you're interested to see how it's done in the original step out, then I'm obviously going to put the link for that in the description box, and you can totally do it that way. But I personally like to do it in this way, where it starts off as a triangle and then gradually extends it into being this bendy, rectangular, squarish shape. So yeah, again, there are no rules to Zentangle, so feel free to customize things the way you like it, and this is one of the ways that I like to customize this particular tangle. Now, once I had the initial placements done, I came back with my dark green pen, and then I kind of started to add little outlines, because I wanted each of these sections to stand out a little bit better against the background. And this process can actually take a significant amount of time based on how many sections you've drawn and what size of the pen you're using. I'm using a 05 pen over here, but I'm adding fairly thicker outlines. So yeah, it did take me quite a few minutes to do this. I think about 10-12 odd minutes, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, somewhere around that time. But I'm just gonna speed up this section of the video for you, so that you get a gist of how I ended up outlining all of these. Okay, with all those sections done, I decided to first add another tangle before I came back and embellished this. So for this, I switched to a different pen, a red pen, and I like to keep switching the colors of the pens every now and then in my composition. just so that I don't feel very blocked, creatively. I'm sure it's different for different people, but for me, this is just how I like to operate. So yeah, just adding some curvy lines over here so that we can add another interesting tangle. And you can actually use any interesting ribbon tangle over here, but I decided to add Brazen over here, which is Jodi Christiansen's pattern. And again, I'm not 100% sure if I'm pronouncing the name correctly. Please, please, please forgive me if I'm saying the name wrong. But I'm definitely going to write the correct names and put in the correct links in the description box below. So yeah, this tangle is called Brazen. And I love the fact that it has this potential to sort of add so much color to each of those little lines that we add, within that ribbon section. Basically, anything to do with adding line weight or anything to do with rounding, I'm a total sucker for those tangles because I totally love adding line weight and roundings to my tangles. So anything where I can add more ink to paper or anything where I can sort of color in areas, I'm definitely game for them. And those are the kinds of tangles that usually attract me the most. So of course, Brazen was, one of my go-tos for that particular reason. So yeah, just adding that over here and then continuing to add that for the rest of the sections as well. And in fact, once you added that tangle everywhere, you can embellish it in so many different ways. But I decided to embellish it with these sort of broken, disjointed, shaky lines. Honestly, I really don't know if this is a tangle that's existent, but I have seen it so many times used by so many different artists. The ones who are into meditative drawing and the ones who are into drawing relaxing doodles. I've seen it with so many people, with so many drawings, with so many artists, that I feel like it's just been etched in my memory. And I feel like I don't know, it's like my soul wants me to draw this filler pattern every few days in a particular drawing. I don't know what it's called, what's the inspiration behind it. Some people have said that it's almost like squiggly worms. To some people, it looks like, tree rings. It reminds them of rings that you see on tree trunks. It's like a wooden grain. It also reminds people of like a water ripple effect. There are so many different inspiration pieces behind this, but anyway, I just basically call them disjointed lines. And they are actually aura lines because you are kind of like, adding an inner outline or like an inner sort of tracing line to the shape that you have. But you're sort of breaking it in the middle. So it's like a disjointed aura. So fragments of it, basically. So anyway, just adding that. And then in the inside sections, I'm basically just adding a little bit of gold. Once I added the gold at this point, it sort of reminded me of those beautiful, symmetrical, round ceilings that you see in a lot of European monuments. And it sort of started to remind me of domes and the inner architecture and the inner paintings of domes and monuments and churches and that kind of stuff. Yeah, maybe I'm just being too aspirational and ambitious over here. And maybe I'm just thinking too high with my artwork. But, well, I mean, it's okay to be delusional once in a while with your own art pieces, right? I mean, who else is going to be your hype girl if you're not going to do it for yourself? I mean, you can have other people hyping you, but you've got to be your own hype girl to begin with. So, yeah, this is me hyping my Zentangle artwork. Okay, so as I progressed, I also decided to add gold inside all of those empty spaces between the Anmoo as well. So I do have certain sections of the Brazen which are kind of going behind Anmoo, almost like overlapping, almost like with the Anmoo overlapping it. And it looks like it's continuously going behind it. But at the same time, there was a certain section where I felt like it's going to look too cluttered. So after I think 3 or 4 repetitions, I stopped it, and then the rest of the area is just plain gold. So it's just one tangle going partially under the other tangle. It's not a complete overlap, so to say. And then it was time to start adding details inside Anmoo. So I wanted to maintain a similar visual language, which is why I first decided to add inner aura lines over here as well, with the other green pen, and started to sort of create this inner border or inner frame, so to say. And then I continued the same steps by adding in a gold outline as well as a red outline. Now, you'll notice over here that with the smaller sections, there was not a lot of scope for me to leave white space. And I had to basically just fill the inner sections with red, and that was about it. But for some of the other sections, the squarish sections, there was some scope to add one more layer, which is why there is some empty white space inside. And I filled that up with gold once again. All right, and once that was done, it was time to add some white pen details. So for this, I decided to keep it simple, and I just added some white dots, very similar to all the embellishment that I have done in the previous pieces so far. So just adding in some details here and there, also adding a few outlines here and there, just to make all of those sections stand out a little bit more. Again, these kinds of details are like totally optional. It's dependent on your personal aesthetic. It's dependent on how busy you like your compositions to be, so on and so forth. So yeah, there are no rules when it comes to adding these embellishments. Okay, and with that done, it was time to remove the washi tape. A little bit of struggle happened over there, but it was successful in the end. Okay, and that is our day 5 composition. I absolutely loved creating this one because it's very bold and it has all the things that I love in tangles. It has a sort of geometric plus organic quality to it. There's lots of color pops over here. There's lots and lots of gold over here. Fun, detailed, intricate patterns, and fun little embellishments as well. So yeah, absolutely loved creating this. And if you're keen to follow along my journey and see how I do for the rest of the 20 days of this challenge, make sure that you hit the subscribe button and come back to watch my future videos. And I hope you're also recreating these projects on the side. So if you do, make sure that you tag me on my social media channels, and I'd love to check out your work. So I will be back with day 6 very soon. Till then, stay creative, keep creating, and take care. Bye.